Now, our fifth team, called eHub Solutions, tackled the challenge area around energy systems integration, and they include Elise Cameron, Inga Doemland, Paul Idzes, Stephen Turner, and Ellie Dean. Ellie, the virtual stage is yours.
Thanks, Nick. So about 8 weeks ago, our team was presented with the question, how might we support remote and isolated communities to transition quickly to a self-reliant, stable and equitable decarbonised energy system? Over 500,000 people live in remote regions of Australia. Our team has chosen to focus on communities that are geographically and socioeconomically disadvantaged, that are off-grid and rely on diesel generation for power, and are large enough to sustain a small school or community centre. Many previous programs have attempted to build renewable energy infrastructure for communities such as these, but have had issues with long-term community acceptance, maintenance, and monitoring. We believe that the key differentiating feature of our solution is a deliberate focus on engagement with the communities, not just to power them, but to empower them, and to build a connection between clean energy generation and education, training, employment, and ongoing economic benefits for the whole community. At eHub Solutions, we bring together expertise from public agency, energy retailer and generator, engineering, design and consulting, and construction to connect these remote communities with investment and sustainable technologies. So without further ado, we present to you the eHub.
The world's climate is changing rapidly, causing extreme temperatures and leading to natural disasters such as heat waves, bushfires, drought, and intense storms. Remote off-grid communities are particularly vulnerable to the damaging effects of climate change.
There are many small and remote off-grid communities all across Australia that are supplied power by diesel generation only. But what if there was a way that we could switch that off and bring these communities an integrated and sustainable power alternative for the future, clean and simple?
Reliable and cost-effective alternatives to diesel power exist. We propose the transition of community halls or schools into eHubs. eHubs are integrated community hubs with renewable energy generation and a grid-forming battery. Energy-efficient technologies for temperature control, lighting and appliances will be deployed in eHubs as well. eHubs are enablers for future technologies like electric vehicles. The community's energy generation and consumption will be displayed via dashboards in the eHubs, empowering people to make an informed decision about their energy consumption. Finally, eHubs provide opportunities for education, training and future employment.
The eHub will deliver a reduction in noise pollution, cleaner air with reduced carbon emissions, greater community engagement and resilience, all while providing cheaper and more reliable energy. We're developing our pilot eHub solution and seeking your support and sponsorship for an ambitious rollout in 2023. Join us on the journey towards equal, clean energy for all Australians.
eHub Solutions. Connected, clean communities.
Thank you for sharing that. And I love the concept. And obviously I see remote communities being very important as we think about this transition and anything to move off diesel. As someone who grew up in the country, and I remember visiting, waiting for the windmill to go so we could all go have our showers and lights, and then having to turn on generators. There's a whole lot in there. What do you think would be the biggest challenge to move this ahead within a specific community? What were the things that you came up against when you were thinking about this as a solution?
Thanks for your question. So we interviewed some experts in the industry, and found really that there are a lot of barriers with community engagement. Inga, did you have any? I might pass this question to you to talk about strategies for community engagement.
Yeah, so what we found, one thing that came about was the availability of land and which land can be used for solar farms, which land is available, and the communication with the community leaders. That was one aspect that that we thought might be breaking the ice, like that we could identify a spokesperson that could then integrate with the community for collaboration. Other aspects was, of course, a spatial difference where these communities are. And that's how we then came up with this rollout for collaboration between government and with installers and also the communities.
Thanks for that. So building on that, and the engagement is one part. How do you translate that technical ownership and buy-in? Obviously, if they're very remote and you're suggesting what I could see as solar battery options and then educating, how do you make that happen within a community that's probably quite small? Just some of your thoughts when you were thinking about that implementation.
Yeah, thanks. So there's definitely pathways to sort of integrate the energy system into the community. So we've chosen schools as an obvious place to start educating the youngsters, but also there's a piece there in illustrating the ongoing benefits to the rest of the community. So opportunities for training to actually hand over the maintenance and the running of these systems to members of the community, provide employment, training options, and yeah, from that, hopefully economic benefits sort of run through the rest of the community. Does anyone else from the team have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's the full solution helps get the community on board. So there's a grid forming battery which allows the sort of diesel to be turned off, and that sort of reduces a lot of the noise pollution and SOx and NOx emissions. So it's sort of that full package of solutions while bundling it up with a community-based solution, which could be a school or community hall or other sort of aspects of community.
Okay, Alan or Simone, did you have a question? I thought you might.
I've got a quick one. You focused on using the school halls, and one obvious reason is it becomes the centre for educating the communities. But going back to Peter's original question, does it also solve some of the barrier problems? You've got a large roof, you've got an agreed space, you're not needing to get community permission because that school hall's already there. In other words, are you getting multiple benefits from doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think reusing that existing piece of infrastructure that's already central to a community will make this a lot easier. Also provides opportunities to, I suppose, use those spaces for other community benefits. So providing, say, for example, a space just to go in an emergency. Anyone else from the team want to answer that one?
Yeah, I can elaborate on that a bit. So obviously there's the infrastructure cost of solar, and like you suggest, Alan, that a central place that is easier to install on, protect, is absolutely a bonus. And it's that centralized area where we can start to bring the community in, and once they see that central piece of infrastructure, it makes the next step much easier to then build on that with other energy efficiency products or other forms of generation.
Thank you for that. That's all the time we've got for now. So I really enjoyed your presentation, and good luck with the next steps. Thank you.
Thank you, eHub Solutions, for an amazing pitch, and again to the judges for their feedback.